was in the 1970s, a pal of mine had done a koi pond, so impressed with it, I went back and dug my first hole. Quite a big pond, but it was very basic, no bottom drain, and turned the filters off overnight. And then I joined a club, the Birmingham West Midlands Koi Club, and then started to do things a more professional way. But I've always been one to do it my way and keep the cost down. I've built things myself, done my own filters. I've never bought anything that's been made to do the job. I've always done it myself. And I still do that like that now, so I've been keeping koi since 1976. Well, it's a hobby that, when you're at home, you've got a hobby that you can do in your back garden. Not like darts or playing snooker where it takes you away from home. You've got the hobby there with you all the while, so there's nothing nicer of an evening sitting around your pond with a glass of wine and watching your fish. But it's not just that, it's not just the fish, it's the water, keeping the water right, changing things, making things. You're involved in lots of different things, plus you meet a lot of folks. Being in the club, we used to have coach trips to different people's ponds, which was always enjoyable. You'd go all over the country to see people's ponds. Well, this is my second pond. I built this in 2002. I've been keeping fish since 1976, so I've had a pond from that time till now. But from the first pond to this pond, you learn your lessons from your first one. So obviously I built this a different way. I had the pond down by the conservatory, so I could see it from the conservatory, where my old pond, the pond used to be at the top of the garden. So the only time I ever seen the fish was if I went up the garden. So that was one of the things. Also, the bottom drain in that pond, which you'll see later, is in the corner, not in the middle. Because I've seen that many people have to put a wetsuit on to go in and unblock the bottom drain because they can't reach it, but I can reach mine from the side. So then it filters into the filters and then comes up to here. So, and all my streams act as filters. So we have all this light tag in here, which is this stuff which they use in garden centres. It's very porous, it comes from the power stations, so it's surplus stuff, which is very absorbent for your biological filter stuff. So, and if I want to clean any of these streams out, all I do is I can put all these pipework. I've got all this pipework going down sewage. I can empty that, and that's emptying now. You can see all this emptying. But I normally empty that out totally, and then I get a hose pipe and clean it. I don't do it very often, but perhaps about every 2 months I might do it. And the same with this, I do that same, and then it goes back to the pool. When I built them, I just built a concrete collar, and then I just do the sides with plastering sand. I put wire mesh in, strong wire mesh, then I cover it with plastering sand with fibron in, and I've done the whole lot like that, and then the chap comes in and fiberglasses it. So basically I'm just jelly moulds. There's nothing strong, but I've never had a leak from it. So you haven't got to spend a fortune, that's what I'm saying. You haven't got to spend a fortune to do the pond. You can do them just like that, and I'm just as strong as if you'd built it all from the floor with blocks. But you know, you need to plan it out and what you're going to do and where you want it, because whether you want full sun on it or you want shade on it, you've got to think about that. But my pond has to fit the garden, so everything I do has got to be in relation to the garden. As you can see, it fits the garden. All the filters are hidden, all the pipeworks are hidden. There's nothing to be seen, basically. So, and all the filters I built myself. I've never bought pre-made filters. I don't use a drum filter, although I've thought about it, but I am 75 now and I'm thinking, well, how many more years I've got left to invest in things like that, and they are expensive. I have got something like it, which I'll show you a bit later on when I go to the filters, and I can give you a demonstration on how I do it. I never use a UV. I have got a UV on the system just as emergency, so maybe if I've treated the pool it might go a little green. I might put it on then, but generally speaking I never use a UV. It tells you something that the system works reasonably well. So the bottom drain's in this corner, so I can lift it. It's not one of these that you can't get off. I can lift it and clear it. Comes here in here first into a vortex. That's just the waste. So all the sewage I've been showing you ends up in here. So if I release anything, all the water goes down to sewage. But I've got these drum filters. When the water starts to go down inside, which they are now, all I do is pull the plug, the water drops away. I turn the pump off first, turn off the inlet for the water coming in, and then I can wash all them out. So I turn the pump off. It's also very quick, all the pipe works, and I turn that off so the water's not going in there no more. I pull this, that's emptying now, and then all I do, once I don't splash you, I just go around them, pull the tap back on so the water's coming back through, just get rid of some of the rubbish that's in the pipe work. That's it, job done. That'll fill now, don't take a moment. As soon as it gets so high I can turn the pumps back on. The next bay, nobody ever does it. These are what I've made. They're what they call donuts. I made them up myself, and what they are, you know when you buy your bag of oranges, you know, the orange bags, they make the bags out of this sort of stuff, and I only clean these out probably twice a year. The water has to go through that to get through to the next bay. So the next bay then is this one with his light tag, and they've got the sponges. The water has to get through to the sponges to get to the pumps. Over here I've got the skimmer. There's some bread there now. Because I've emptied some of the water's low and that'll come faster in a bit. But I've got a self top-up system in here. So this is 6 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot. So any water that I lose, like I've just lost, it's filling up automatically. I never have to top it up. It's filling up automatically, and once it's full, that'll stop then. And that's, I would say that's probably my main filter, because it's just full of light tag and air. And that's the way the filtration works. I think there's no more to say really about that. These were spawned last year, late last year. I think it was as late as August. And the reason I did a spawn in the big chaggai that you'll see on some pictures, it started to swim vertically. He was struggling to keep his body down, so I knew he'd got a swim bladder problem. And some people in the club told me it could be in spawn. So I bought a little swimming pool, put some spawning brushes in and put it in with 3 other fish, and sure enough next day she spawned. There was eggs everywhere all over the side of the pool, and these are what I've got left from the spawning. I lost a few because didn't know what I was doing. But in fact I gave it up at one stage. I couldn't see anything, so I started to empty this swimming pool and put all the spawning nets into this big tank, and I was going to just dismantle it and finish. Then all of a sudden my wife seen one of the little fry, and they like a piece of hair. I thought, oh, they have bread. So I set it all back up again and put all the spawning nets back in, and fortunately we didn't lose them all. We got these, so hopefully in the near future, as they get a bit bigger, I shall put it back in the pool to grow on a bit more and sell some of these up. But there's some nice chaggais amongst them. I can't remember how I come across it. I think it's because I'm a member of the Birmingham West Midlands Koi Society, and I think I may have heard it through that on WhatsApp. So yeah, I joined it straight away. I had the first edition. Some of the articles are really, really good. And obviously I've watched some of the videos on YouTube as well, and they come over very, very well. So there's some very interesting statements and where they get the fish from in Japan and such as that. I haven't gone into it in such a big way as that, keeping koi. I mean, I know all the common names of all my fish, like Bill, Harry. Joking, obviously, but now it's, I mean, people like to know where they've come from now, what breeder they've used and that. But if you like your fish, you enjoy what you've got. You haven't got to keep up with anybody else. You haven't got to have the best. If you enjoy your fish, that's all that matters. So yeah, and if you really want some proper advice, then obviously have the koi talk, because there's a lot of good information that will help you along the way to set it up. I mean, you can buy them small, and I had two kahakus I bought from Middleton Koi in Barton. They've moved from there now. They weren't expensive, probably about £40 each, and they weren't very big, only about, I work in inches, so there was only about 4 or 5 inches. Yet the one, he grew really nice, and he won baby champion in one of the competitions. And that's the nice way to do it. Buy them small, watch them grow. I mean, I know people have bought fish to put in competitions, which I think it shouldn't be allowed. If you bought that fish up and you've treated it right, fed it right, and you've made a nice fish, you'll get a lot more satisfaction from that than going out to buy a fish just to put into a show. You don't have to show, but it's part of the hobby. And so yes, it's up to that particular person. If that's what they want, then do it. Do what you can afford. Don't break the bank.